You know, I've noticed something, and it happens everywhere I work now, except for a few places, I guess. There's a couple people that I work with that I've worked with for years now that don't do this. But the newer organizations, new groups, and whatnot do it all the time. And they can't help but notice or point out or even care about the diversity of the team. I'm so happy, and I just listened to somebody go on on record about how they were so excited and happy to see people from all different races and colors and religions, probably because there's a team member that's wearing hijab, so obviously she's Muslim, and they're just so happy and proud about it. And I thought to myself, when did it become acceptable in public to be so shallow and callous? Think about it this way. Um, I guess I can go with when I was growing up. I don't see how else I can't. I was always taught that you shouldn't care what somebody else looks like. It's what's on the inside that counts. That's usually how it went, you know. Beauty is only skin deep. It's on the inside that matters, and everybody kind of shrugged it off. Well, certain people did. Um, and the ones that usually shrugged it off are the ones that were callous and shallow, that only cared about what they look like, the ones that needed to be beautiful to be accepted, right? And nobody liked them because all they cared about is what they look like, not who they are. In fact, their obsession with how they look became who they are. We're back at that point, but it's more prevalent. It's everywhere. It's shallow. It's callous. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with what I'm talking about here, um, being shallow means that you only care about what's on the outside: skin color, race, gender, or sex. I allow those to be split up because technically they are. Genders on a spectrum between white, or excuse me, genders on a spectrum between male and female. There are no multiple genders. It's just you're 60% male, you're 80% male, you're 70% female, whatever, right? It's on that spectrum. It's not anything else. Sex is biological. Go fuck yourself if you think it's otherwise. There are not multiple sexes. There are 4 disorders and 2 sexes. Disorders aren't sex. Anyways, I did a video on that already. But now we've become a society obsessed with shallow reasoning. And you know what? I think this is why Hollywood loves this shit. Loves it. Hollywood is full of shallow, self-centered, egotistical, I can't even say that word. Megalomaniacs. There we go. They they're so self-centered and shallow that the only thing they care about is what they look like and the perceptions of others on what they look like. And then they state political opinions from time to time, thinking they're the smartest people on the planet, when in fact they're dumbasses. I mean, you get paid to play make believe. Do you think I'm going to take you seriously? I'm getting off on a tangent there. But I've noticed it, and I don't like it. Maybe I'm just of the minority opinion at this point that I don't care what you are. I care who you are. It should never be about the what. What should not be mentioned. What is irrelevant. Who you are is more important than what you are. And I don't understand, I really don't, why we're gravitating toward the what. Is humanity really this shallow? This callous? This pathetic? I'm trying to use less egregious terms in this manner because I don't really want anybody to take offense to this, to be honest. I don't think it's right. I don't think your reasoning is correct. I think that people that care about what somebody looks like more than who they are as a person have some of their own issues they need to work out. It's less about the other person and more about them at that point. It says a lot about that person that they're paying attention to and embracing and celebrating what everyone looks like. My question is, did you bother to stop to learn who they are? One of my personal problems is I have a really hard time remembering names. I'm really good with faces. I'm horrible with names, and I don't know why. And I've always wanted to fix it. Because the name you are given at birth, or the name you adopt, is a title, a moniker. It denotes individuality. But I'm really good at associating events and character to a face. I don't forget that stuff. Most part. There are a few people that I've forgotten, don't care about. And understandably so. But the thing is people can change. So, I mean, that's a moving target, to say the least. But now we're in a society. We're living in a society that only cares about what you look like. And maybe, you know what? Maybe we always have been, and it's just louder now thanks to the internet. Maybe all of the human behaviors that have always been are just louder because of the internet. So it's unavoidable. But now there's a cult of personality out there that celebrates what people look like as if it's some sort of virtue. Just because you look a certain way doesn't make you special or unique. I mean, well, it kind of does, because no two faces look alike unless you're twins or something. You might have a doppelganger out there somewhere with similar genetics, all that kind of fun stuff. Which may or may not be true. But my issue is that stuff is useless. It doesn't tell me who you are. I can't make a value judgment on your character if all you care... Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. I can make a value judgment on your character if all you care about is race. You're shallow. You're callous. Your view of people only runs skin deep. You don't care what or who a person is. You only care what they are, not who they are. That's a massive problem. That's disgusting. That's repugnant. That's evil. Anyways, there's not a news cycle. There's not a newspaper. There's not even public notices, statistics. There's nothing on this planet, and maybe that's the problem. There's nothing on this planet that doesn't use the what. It only does the who. That's not the way to be. You should only care about the who, not the what. Anyways, it's been bugging me for a while. I've been meaning to make a statement on this particularly. I've done it a few different ways, but then last night or in my live stream not too long ago, if you look at the chat comments, there was a person that was saying something about I don't see color, I don't believe in color, are racists, inequality, equity, nonsense, blah 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 buzzword type responses. I never said that. He put words in my mouth. I told in that live stream that I don't give value to race. Why should I? And perhaps that person has a linear thinking brain and cannot comprehend what that means, because they do put value to race. And that means they care more about the what than the who. If you think race is valuable, you're racist. Period. You have to make judgment decisions at that point if you think race is valuable, that one race is more or less valuable than the other. That's the point. If you value something that's more intrinsic to you is more valuable than something else to somebody else. Give you an example. Here is a coffee cup. It is full of coffee right now. It's delicious. This coffee cup is more valuable to me than it is to anyone watching this video. The reasons are irrelevant to you. The reasons to me are valuable from where it came from, who gave me the coffee, why they gave me the coffee, where we got the cup and how, and all the story around this cup in particular, which I don't need to share to you, demonstrates why that cup is more valuable to me than it is to you. That value judgment and statement is why I say race has no value. If I were to give it value, then I would obviously have to value my race over everyone else's, which is racist, because now you have to discriminate. You have to discern. You have to make judgment calls, value decisions based on something that doesn't matter. So when, in my previous videos, I mentioned race has no value, it's because I refuse to give it a value decision. It is irrelevant to the conversation. You can be black as midnight and a jackass, a complete asshole. And you can be black as midnight and the kindest person anyone has ever met. Or somewhere in between. Kind person with a very sarcastic personality. Reminds me of one of my good friends. But that's the point, isn't it? Their skin color does not tell you who they are. You don't know if they're the kind person. You don't know if they're a jackass. You don't know if they're somewhere in between based on the color of their skin, now do you? There's no way you can know, unless you use stereotypes, which I thought were racist in the first place, according to you crazy sons of bitches. But, I mean, you're using them too, right? You stereotype white people constantly. I listen to it in the news. It's the most annoying shit in the planet. But you can't determine who someone is just by looking at them. You will never know. You have to talk to them first. So maybe you need to start there. Or you could just listen to them, like what I do here on the platform that hates people, YouTube. You can just listen, and you might know something about that person. Or maybe where they're coming from if they decide to share that kind of information to you. I've shared a few things. I used to have a podcast once upon a time. I stopped doing it. I'll probably start doing it again because it's only once a week and I can do that for an hour. It's not too bad. YouTube is purposely censoring me. They have been for years now, which is fun. Not really. But you know what? It's alright. I can work around that. Anyways, I think I'll just stop there. I'm going to start rambling if I can continue. I just noticed it in something I was sitting through, and it annoyed me. So I thought I'd say something about it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff if you actually see this. If not, pass this around because YouTube hates people.